this video, we're going to try to explain you how to create minimization using K-maps. First of all, you have to know that over here we have a function, a representation. This means that with this function you can create a truth table because of the time and because of the topic of this video is not truth tables. We're gonna just paste it from one that we already created. You can see that this truth table it's from this function because of the minimums that it has over here. For example, it says 2 and it's gonna be in 2, 1, 3, etc. etc. In that way you're gonna find every one from this table over here is the representation. Well, now that you have the truth table, it's possible to create a K-map. It's very important that you know that for K-maps there are a lot of possibilities, and these possibilities are based in the way you organize your variables. For example, you can put it like this: A, B, C, and D. That is the most common form, and you can do it A, B, C, and D. It doesn't matter, but you need to know that for each one, for each position that you get for each variable, there are going to be a numeration for K-map, and it's going to be different for every position. We just decide to use this accommodation for numbers, and because of that, we are going to put our variables in some position, special one. For example, over here it's 1, 2, 4, and 8. Variable D, it corresponds a jump from 0 to 1. We can observe it. So this means that it's this one. So it jumps this. So it is over here. Variable C, it's a jump from 0 to 6 to number 2, sorry. This means that it jumps this line. So it's over here. Variable B, it jumps 0 to 4. This means it jumps this. So it's over here. And finally, variable A jumps 0 to 8. 0 to 8. It jumps this line, so you can put it over here. Well, I'm gonna erase it for being more clean. But it's just the position for your variables. It depends on the number that you have here, or you can do it otherwise. You can put your variables, and based on your variable, you're gonna put your numbers that corresponds for the position. Now that you have your K-map, it's important to realize this, where your ones are. That this means your minimums. Over here, you can see that we already have it over here. But if not, if you have a function, you have to be based on the truth table. This way, it's more easy. You can see that we have a minimum 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, etc. This means that you're gonna put your numbers one in another table. It's better to use another table for being more clean in those numbers. For example, we're gonna have a minimum in number 2, number 3, in number 4, 5, 7, 8, 10, 13, and 15. Okay. That you organize all the minimums in the new K-map, it's important that you know that this K-map in specifically are gonna help us just to reach the SOP solution. Okay, don't forget to organize again your variables as you have it in the beginning. And now what we're gonna do is a group or numbers one. It's important that you start by looking for groups of 16. Obviously over here we didn't have it. Groups of 8. Over here we didn't have also. Now groups of 2, no, of 4, sorry, and we have 1. And it's gonna be named as number 1. Now, groups of 2. We have some over here. We can use different colors to difference. This one is number 2. Oh, sorry. This one is 3. And over here, we can't leave this alone. But what we can do is pick another one from group 1 to have another group that is going to call group 4. And it's important to get in circles all the numbers 1. And we already did it. Over here we have another one. But we're here. It's going to be group 5. We're going to continue looking for some. And I think that it's it. That's it. Now that we already have all the groups possibles, an important step is to look for the numbers ones that doesn't are in touching another group. For example, what I mean is that this one it's alone, also this, also this. Um, Over here we have this one, and this one. What we are doing over here is that we are putting a special mark for the groups that are gonna be in our solution. The groups that doesn't have the mark are not gonna be in our solution, are optionals. For example, over here we just have one that doesn't have the mark, and is the group 5, because we already have those ones in another group. And now that we have our, our groups marked, we're going to proceed to create a reduced function. Another important step for doing this is to name or to determine which variables are for each group that we already did it over here. First of all, over here we have our group number 1, and we're going to look for the variables that corresponds to that group. For example, we have to start with for variable A. Variable A is over here. We can see that variable A doesn't be in this group because it cuts the line that determines where A is, cuts our group number 1. So and variable A is not in this group. Now we're gonna proceed with variable B, and we can see that variable B is vertical, doesn't cut our group, so it's gonna be a part of our result. And it's important to know that, for example, it's not the inverse of B because it is directly in the group. We're gonna see in some other examples that we're gonna obtain some inverse variables. For variable, the next one, variable C, we're gonna see that it cuts our group, so it's not gonna be okay. And finally, for variable D, that it's over here, we can see that it doesn't cut our group, so it's gonna be part of our answer, and it's gonna be positive. Now we're gonna clean a little bit this. Now we're gonna proceed with group number 2. We have to see where is it. It's over here. And again, one by one, we're gonna see which variable is part of the group. For example, A, that it's part of the group and it doesn't cut. So it's gonna be A, positive. Now B, it's part also, but negative. Then C, is not part of the group because, as you can see over here, it cuts our group. So we're going to proceed with D. It is part of the group. Now I'm going to proceed with all of the groups one by one, a little bit more quickly. 3. Where is it? It's here. We're going to start with A. It is, but it's negative because it is not touching the group, but it's not cutting it. Now we're going to proceed with B. Also, it's part of the group, but in a negative way. Now C. It is part of the group in a positive way because it touches. And D is not because, again, it got it. Now I'm going to clean a little bit this. And again, I'm going to proceed with group 4. And group 4 is here. A is part but in a negative way. B, it is in a positive way. Then D is not because it cuts. Oh, sorry, I missed C. Is in a negative way. So now that we have all of our groups named, it's just putting it in the solution. The reason that I just don't name group 5 is because it doesn't have a mark and it's optional. So the solution for SOPs is 1 plus group 2 plus group 3 plus group 4. So it's going to be BD plus ABD plus ABC plus ABC. This is my minimization. Now, to understand and to make our POS solution, we're gonna do almost the same way, but we have to see over here that for SOP solution we use the minimums. For POS we're gonna use the maximums, and we're gonna create another K-map, but instead of using numbers ones, we're gonna see the spaces that we got it in blank in the last one K-map, and in those spaces I'm gonna put zeros. And we're gonna just do the same. I'm gonna do it in this video, but I'm not gonna talk in every step as I do over here, and I'm gonna put it a little bit like in 2 speed so you can see the real solution more easy.